internet, a sprawling digital landscape, a boundless realm of information and connection. But beneath its familiar surface, a shadow lurks. The dark web, a hidden underbelly where anonymity reigns, a breeding ground for the illicit and the unknown. It's a place where curiosity can lead to dangerous consequences. This is the story of one such journey, a journey into the digital abyss, a journey that began with innocent curiosity. It ended with a chilling encounter, an encounter that left an indelible mark on a young man's soul. Jake was a college student, young, bright, and driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge. He was always the top of his class, admired by peers and professors alike. He spent countless hours exploring the vast expanse of the internet, diving into research and uncovering new information. One evening, while researching for a project, he stumbled upon a forum discussing the dark web. Intrigued, he delved deeper, unable to resist the allure of the unknown. He learned about Tor browsers and VPNs, tools that promised anonymity and access to hidden corners of the internet. He read tales of hidden marketplaces and clandestine activities, stories that both fascinated and horrified him. A sense of excitement, mixed with trepidation, began to stir within him. The idea of exploring something so secretive was both thrilling and terrifying. Driven by a potent cocktail of curiosity and naivete, Jake decided to see it for himself. He felt an irresistible pull, a need to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden. He downloaded the necessary software, his heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and fear. Each click brought him closer to a world he knew little about. Little did he know that he was about to cross a line that once crossed would change his life forever, a line that would lead him to a place he could never truly leave behind. The dark web was a realm of shadows, and Jake was about to step into its depths, unaware of the consequences that awaited him. Navigating the dark web was like stepping into another world. It was a realm where the rules of the regular internet didn't apply, a place shrouded in mystery and danger. The deeper you went, the more you realized how little you knew. Cryptic URLs and forums filled with coded messages. Each link was a puzzle, each forum a cryptic maze. The language was foreign yet strangely familiar, like a forgotten dialect of the internet. It was disorienting and unsettling, yet Jake was captivated. The tension in his shoulders grew, but so did his fascination. He felt like an explorer in uncharted territory, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity. He spent hours clicking from link to link, his curiosity growing with each passing moment. Each click was a step deeper into the abyss. Then, he found it. A site simply titled, "The Final Warning." The starkness of the title was jarring, a stark contrast to the chaotic nature of the dark web. The name itself sent shivers down his spine. It was as if the words carried a weight, a gravity that pulled at his very soul. A sense of foreboding washed over him. It was a warning, a premonition of something dark and dangerous. Yet, he couldn't look away. The site's homepage was stark, minimalistic in design. It was devoid of the usual clutter, just a black background and white text. A black background with white text that seemed to burn into his retinas. The simplicity was unnerving, making the message all the more powerful. "Turn back now," it read. "This is your final warning." The words were clear, direct, and chilling. They seemed to echo in his mind. A single button below beckoned him forward, labeled Enter. It was an invitation and a challenge, a test of his resolve. Despite the ominous warning, Jake felt an irresistible pull. It was as if the site was calling to him, drawing him in with an invisible force. He hesitated for a moment, his finger hovering over the button. Doubt flickered in his mind, but curiosity was stronger. The allure of the unknown proved too strong. He clicked. In that moment, he crossed a threshold, stepping into the unknown, driven by a need to uncover the secrets that lay beyond. The site loaded, and Jake was met with a wall of text. Strange and disturbing stories filled the screen, each one more unsettling than the last. Tales of disappearances, hauntings, and unexplained phenomena seemed to leap out at him, each story more chilling than the one before. The words seemed to writhe on the screen, almost as if they were alive, twisting and turning in a dance of digital horror. It was as if they were alive, whispering to him from the darkest corners of the internet, their voices barely audible but deeply unsettling. As he scrolled through the content, a growing sense of unease settled over him. The stories were not just words on a screen, they felt like echoes of real events, shadows of true horrors. The stories were too vivid, too real. Each one painted a picture so clear it was as if he could see the events unfolding before his eyes. They felt different from the usual creepypastas and urban legends. These felt personal. It was as if the authors had lived through these nightmares themselves. A particular story caught his eye. It was more detailed, more intense than the others. It was about a young man, much like himself, who had ventured too deep into the dark web. The similarities were uncanny, almost as if the story was a reflection of his own life. The man had stumbled upon a site that promised to grant his deepest desires. The allure was irresistible, the promises too tempting to ignore, but the price he paid was far greater than he could have ever imagined. The story ended in a way that left Jake feeling cold and terrified, a stark warning of the dangers that lurked in the shadows of the internet. Section 5. The game begins. A notification flashed on the screen, snapping Jake out of his morbid fascination. "Do you want to play a game?" it asked. A chill ran down Jake's spine. This was new. He hadn't seen this before. He hesitated, his gut screaming at him to close the laptop and walk away. But something, perhaps that same morbid curiosity, kept him glued to the screen. He typed yes. The screen went black for a moment, then flickered back to life. A single word appeared in the center of the screen. Truth. Below it a text box appeared, along with a set of instructions. "Type your deepest, darkest secret," it read. "The one thing you would never tell another soul." A timer set for 1 minute began to count down. Section 6. Trapped. Panic surged through Jake. What was happening? This was supposed to be just a website. It wasn't supposed to interact with him. He tried to close the window, but it wouldn't budge. His cursor was frozen. He tried to shut down his computer, but it was unresponsive. The timer ticked down relentlessly. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. His heart pounded in his chest. He had to get out of this. Desperately, he glanced around the room, as if searching for an escape route in the physical world. But there was none. He was trapped. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. His gaze darted back to the screen. The text box seemed to pulsate, beckoning him to confess his deepest secret. Section 7. Escape. 10 seconds. 9, 8. He couldn't take it anymore. He slammed his laptop shut, the screen going dark in the nick of time. He let out a shaky breath. He had escaped, at least for now, but the encounter had shaken him to his core. The feeling of being watched, of being controlled, lingered. He knew he had been foolish to ignore the warnings. The dark web was not a playground. It was a dangerous place, filled with unknown entities and unseen consequences. He quickly uninstalled the Tor browser, vowing to never return to the dark web. He just wanted to forget this ever happened. He tried to push the experience to the back of his mind. He focused on his studies, his friends, anything to distract himself. But the memory of the final warning lingered. It haunted his dreams. He would wake up in a cold sweat. The image of the countdown timer seared into his mind. He started seeing shadows in the corner of his eye, hearing whispers in the dead of night. He felt like he was constantly being watched, his every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. Then, one morning, he woke up, and it was gone. The feeling of dread, the paranoia, it had vanished. He felt normal. Had it all been a bad dream, a figment of his overactive imagination? He wanted to believe it was. He needed to believe it was. Life returned to normal, or as normal as it could be after such a harrowing experience. He never spoke of his encounter with the final warning. Not to his friends, not to his family. He kept it buried deep inside, a dark secret that he hoped would never see the light of day. But some scars run deeper than the surface. He was changed. He was no longer the carefree, curious young man he once was. He was more cautious now, more aware of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the world. He knew that the internet, for all its wonders, was also a double-edged sword. It could connect you with the world, or it could lead you down a path of no return. Jake never forgot his encounter with the final warning. It served as a constant reminder of the hidden dangers that lurked in the darkest corners of the internet. He realized that the real horror wasn't the supernatural elements of the site, but the very real possibility that someone, somewhere, was watching him. He knew that the dark web wasn't just a haven for creepypastas and urban legends. It was a place where real crimes were committed. A place where identities were stolen, drugs were sold, and worse. His experience had opened his eyes to a darker truth. The internet was not just a tool for good, it could also be a weapon in the wrong hands. This is a story about curiosity and consequence. It's a story about the allure of the unknown and the price we pay for venturing too far. It's a story that serves as a warning. The dark web is real, it's dangerous, it's not a game. It's a place where the lines between reality and nightmare blur. It's a place where your deepest fears can be exploited, and it's a place where some things are better left undisturbed. So, the next time you're feeling curious, remember Jake's story. Remember the final warning and stay away. Stay